Welcome to the June 9th, 2021 Delhi Township Trustee Meeting. We will begin the meeting as we do every time with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Tonight's moment of silence is in honor of our Assistant Administrator Greg DeLong's brother-in-law, Joseph Spoggy. He passed away on June 18th from complications from COVID. He had contracted COVID one day before he got his second shot. He leaves behind a wife, Lisa, a daughter, Lauren, two sons, Josh and Jack, his mother, Ruth, stepmother, Betty. He's one of 5, and also brother-in-law of Greg and his siblings. He was a veteran of the Army. Ladies and gentlemen, if this doesn't tell you, please go get your COVID shots. That's my PSA for tonight. Stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so very much. All right. We'll start with the meeting with the approval of the minutes, Mr. Luby.
Motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees regular meeting held on June 9th, 2021.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Approved.
Motion to approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending June 15th, 2021.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries. Report from the fiscal officer.
Resolution 2021-92, resolution authorizing the township administrator to spend greater than $10,000 on behalf of the township, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I can tell you this is for our IT service provider that we've used for years, so this is just renewing their 3-year term we had, so the expense related to that for this year.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes. Resolution passes.
As far as significant transactions since the last meeting, on 6/20, we received $3.5 million for our real estate tax advance. As far as disbursements, our payroll on June 10th was $311,000. Our payroll on June 24th was $356,000. We did close on 4 houses on Rapid Run for a total of $253,000. We had a check to Adlita for $58,000, part of our sidewalk and road project. And we had a check for $82,000 to Axon Enterprises for our body cameras, tasers, record storage, and our in-car cameras. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. Now we have trustee correspondence. Trustee Seavey.
Yes. For those of you who have reached out to me about fireworks and also about noise ordinance, both of our chiefs and assistant chief will be handling these in a sort of a public service announcement tonight. Safety on the fireworks and where we stand on noise ordinance. So hang in there. They'll be speaking to you.
All right. Trustee Davis.
Thank you. Yes, a couple items, if you would. First of all, thank you, City of Cincinnati, for Lower Delhi down there at the bottom where it rolls into the city. Finally getting that paved is going to be very nice. Those that you that travel down Delhi Pike and into the city from that route, I think it's going to be nice. It's going to be tough because there's going to be some road, not closures, but it's going to be down the one lane and such, so it's going to be a little bit difficult here and there, but it's going to be worth it every bit. And if you followed the meetings, the board actually pushed that, the township pushed it, and we're glad that the city is finally doing it. So a kudos to the city, and unfortunately not a kudos to the city on the next part, and I apologize. The lower apartments down on Lower Delhi Pike, and anyone that's gone down that route knows where I'm heading with this, those are not located in Delhi Township. Those apartments down there, which from what I understand, the owner lives in California. If I'm mistaken, please tell me, Greg or anybody. but it's absolutely ridiculous, it's pathetic, and I would say even sinful for the conditions that they're living in down in those apartments. By show of hands, how many know what apartments I'm talking about into the city? Thank you. And just coming back from a meeting downtown and seeing the garbage, again, overflowed, trash ripped open, furniture stacked there, it's unbelievable. And I thank, one of the few times that I thank those on social media with Delhi Next Door who actually pushed that. And I know Janet is in there somewhere pushing it, trying to get them to do something. And they did clean it up. They cleaned it up only until the next couple of weeks where it's overflowing. So 2 bins for all of those apartments, I think, is what's going on. Why do I say this? Because I'm asking all of you, I'm asking anybody that's watching at home, call the city of Cincinnati, please push that. It's absolutely ridiculous, and for that to being one of the gateways into Delhi Township, it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, and for people to have to live like that, like I said, it's sinful. I can't even imagine, and there's even another street or two that goes back for other housing back there besides the apartment, so it's just horrible. So hopefully they'll do something about that, and we'll go from there. Speaking of that, my third point was for an address up on Alomar that I know we talked about before, and I know that I've talked to our township facilities on trying to handle water that has been stacked up in the back driveway. And I know we've gone out and bombed it for the mosquitoes and such, but I do see Sweet Rena, who's actually in the audience tonight. Is your nephew here, or are you by yourself, Rena? Where's that? How are you? I didn't see, I'm the trustees, if I could ask, since I'm actually talking about it, I don't want to talk about it twice. Is that okay? Do you mind if we jump the order?
Sure.
Sorry. Dan, this is your birthday. Usually this would be later, but since I rolled into it, and I did not know you were coming to the meeting, but since I opened it up, would you mind, do you want to pick up where I left off just quickly here? Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, come on up. And Rena is your, I know, it doesn't happen often. Rena is your aunt, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Lives on Alomar.
And she lives up on Alomar, and happy almost 90th birthday to you, Rena. Almost. That's all right. It's a celebration. I'm going to be there. I will be there. Anyway. So, Dan, sorry.
I got some notes, but I'm basically here to speak on behalf of my 90-year-old aunt. I guess back in 2019, this property had sold, and it had never been an issue, but for some reason at the end of her driveway, there's a drainage that doesn't get drained out or reamer through it or whatever they are. Where this guy used to take care of that, and it has gotten so bad that there's cattails growing now. It's got to be a health issue concerning like even going into the basement. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a drain in that basement like she has coming into her garage. But the one that's at either outside the garage or back here is just clogged, and I was over there, since we've had a lot of rain of late, I was there picking her up, and I couldn't get over how bad it was. I got pictures of it if you'd like to see them, but it's gotten worse since I took the pictures on. I was over there on Sunday. And so I asked them, they were all complaining, and I said, well, I'll speak for you here. I said, because I really do think, with mosquitoes, health issues, she can't even enjoy her backyard, and she loves outside. Obviously, being from Italy, they love the hot weather. So I'm more than happy to email those to you all or the township or whatever. I can get them out. I got a camera adapter or whatever for my laptop, but I don't think we need to take all that time of yours. I just want to make sure that we had a
Right.
Yeah.
Is this Greg or Ron? A little bit of both. Okay, so how do you want to proceed? Would you like pictures to be sent to you that he has taken? Tell us how you want to proceed with this. So Greg is our Community Development Director and Assistant Administrator, and Ron is in charge of...
We received a complaint about it. zoning does not control drainage on private property or drainage, period. So what we do is we treat it, we dunk it, so that minimizes mosquitoes, send it to the health department. In this instance, I know Public Works was also involved, and one of the staff members did stop over there and left a note for the resident to call, and at this time, I don't believe they have called back yet. Unfortunately, it's a private system, and we kind of don't have a lot of regulations on that. So we may just have to get a hold of Hamilton County, see if they can step in and help us out. But we also have an excessive vegetation case on that property. We're working on that too. So.
Okay. So what should he do? Should he send pictures to you,
We have-
or
we have a
you have all the
picture. We already
information?
have if you have additional pictures, we're more than happy to have them.
I can send
We'll have to keep them, but we also have a picture of the property when we went over and inspected it.
Greg, is this occupied?
It is, it's a
Yes.
rental property. I can give you the owner of it's a,
Let's not say it.
representative let's see, Meyer Young Properties LLC. So,
M-E-Y-E-R.
obviously, it's a rental property,
Okay.
but
So, next steps.
We can contact the health department and also Hamilton County Soil and Water and see if they can help us out with anything.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, we're not saying we're washing our hands of it. It's just,
yeah,
we don't have
I'm just gonna stay on top of
jurisdiction.
it, and I just wanted to get it on record that,
Right.
I got some things, you guys have been great, and always truly appreciate your guys' support and your dedication, but I got an issue resolved by coming in here and speaking.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
thank you for moving me up, and I'll get their email and then send that off to them.
Okay. We do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you much.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Anything else, Trustee Davis?
No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your flexibility on letting us move that up on the agenda. And like I said, I've known you for a long time, Rena, and I know we've got lots of pictures and things of it. And back to my first point, you shouldn't have to live like that next to it. It's not that we're picking on your neighbors, but this has gone on for a while, so thank you.
Thank you.
For 2 years I got this mess.
For 2 years, you've had this, got it.
All
Yep.
right. Well, thank you. They're aware, and they'll work the steps that they can for you. Thank you. All right. For me, many of you have probably seen on Facebook, there's been a lot of chatter about speed bumps on different drives, different streets, and so on and so forth. Again, I'm not an expert on it, but it is going to be addressed also by Chief Howarth. You're going to talk a little bit about speed bumps and how they can't, and whatever. Okay, so we'll talk about why we don't have speed bumps, and we go from there. So I'll leave that to the chief. All right, so we do have a special presentation tonight, which is why we have such a crowd. It's very nice. We have two police officers being sworn in. So, Chief, if you'd like to start.
Thank you, Board of Trustees. Appreciate it. This is a good time. We kind of put a little bit because of COVID behind us as far as coming up here, but I'd like to introduce formally our two newest police officers. So with that, Jan, you want to step up? Come on up.
All the way up.
Don't be bashful.
Jan Gelhar comes to us. Originally, his wife Jen is from Northern Kentucky. She went over to Germany. How many years ago, Jen? 15 years ago. Okay, met Jan. She got transferred back from her occupation back to Northern Kentucky, so she's back here. Jan accompanied her, came back here to the United States, and we're fortunate that he joined us in Delhi Township Police Department. He spent 17 years with Munich, Germany Police Department. So he came here, wanted to continue on in law enforcement. He seeked out the how to become a police officer in the state of Ohio, so he joined the academy on his own. Put in an application here, and I give it to Assistant Chief Braun. He reached out to Jan after he saw the resume and really pushed me to bring him in and have a talk and chat with him. Thought it was a unique situation, so thankfully we did that. Jan started, like I said, 17 years as a police officer, and then he ended in detective major crimes investigations for Munich Police Department. He graduated with Public Administration and Justice diploma from Bavarian College of Public Administration. Came to the United States in October of 2019. He joined the Police Academy in July of 2020, and then he graduated December 14th of 2020. We brought him on here January 4th of this year, 2021. He's completed his FTO program, so he's out there on his own by himself and doing a fine job and keeps coming back. So we're glad to have him.
Yes, very glad. Okay.
Adam, would you like to come on up? Another unique situation came from out of town for us, originally from northern Kentucky with his wife Casey. They both, Adam went to Ryle High School, graduated from Ryle High School. He worked at the Campbell County Detention Center in 2016, prior to him and his wife, Cassie, going to Newport News, Virginia. Enrolled in the Navy. He's a Navy veteran. He's still in the reserves. Casey's also a Navy veteran. She just completed her tour. He was sworn in with Newport News, Virginia in October of 2017, where he served for a little more than 4 years. He did receive numerous commendations from MAD and also the Chief's Award, Excellent in Policing. He's got an associate's degree in criminal justice. We hired him as a police recruit back in December 18th of 2020. We sent him to the academy, which he started January 4th of 2021 this year. He graduated May 21st of 2021, and he's been officially sworn in on the 16th of June. I know he's biting at the bit. He's in an FTO program right now, but he's been doing this in Virginia for 4 years, so he's biting a bit to get out there. But he's learning and doing a fine job, so I can't tell you how excited. This day and age, finding law enforcement officers, as we all know, is very difficult. But I feel like we're really, really fortunate to find these two individuals. So look forward to working the rest of my career with them, and appreciate what you're doing and choosing Delhi Township. So with that, if you don't mind doing the honors, and then we'll have the wives come up and do the pin ceremony.
I think it says on, off.
Am I on? Okay, I am on now. Thank you. If you'd raise your right hand, please. And if I could have the words. Jack. I didn't have this memorized. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio, the resolutions of the Township of Delhi, and I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a police officer of the Delhi Township Police Department. So help me God. Congratulations. Welcome.
You can do one at a time if you want. Stick them to her.
Thank you guys for the opportunity, and look forward to getting up there on my own and serving around the township.
Great.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Trustee Stephen? Yes. Glad to have you. Thank you. God, I'm freezing. We're hearing great things.
Thank you.
Okay. You want to make a statement? Thank you.
Gentlemen, you're surrounded by a great family of the DCPA, the Delta Citizens Police Group.
That's right.
So you've got a lot of police family with you.
I really like ceremonies like this, much better than the one we held at noon today. We had 2 officers retire, Lieutenant Bill Murphy and Corporal, Brent Calley. So he gave us 2 and he took 2. What can I say? All right, welcome. Okay, we do have a public hearing tonight. I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. If anybody'd like to leave at this time, you don't have to stay for the rest of the business meeting. Thank you, Cheryl. Use their place in the corner. No. I did. Freezing. Okay. Are they going to stand out there? Okay. Thank you, Janet. I know what you're going to do. Yeah. Okay. All righty. All right. While they're celebrating, we'll go on with our meeting then, please. Mr. Luby.
We have a motion to open the public hearing for the 2022 Delhi Township tax budget.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do we have any public comments? Is that where we go with it? We have anybody here? Okay. Do we have any comments about it? Mr.
I can do it now or when we have the resolution, whatever you prefer.
Okay, so we'll just, it's open for public comment. Nobody's here. We have no comments, so we can close it then?
Motion to close the public hearing for the 2022 Delhi Township tax budget.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Okay, very good. Fire department. Oh, I guess we're going to need a speaker for all the departments. Oh, you're going to sit here tonight? Okay. Thank you. Nice. Okay. Welcome.
Resolution 2021-93, resolution authorizing the Delhi Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, to enter into a lease purchase agreement by and between Huntington Public Capital Corporation and Delhi Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, to finance the purchase of fire equipment for Delhi Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, and authorizing other documents in connection therewith, declaring an emergency and dispensing the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Well, this is Mr. Luby's thing. He's financing this through Huntington, but everything but your firstborn is required in this documentation. I can tell you that.
Right.
I don't know. Assistant Chief Moore is going to talk about the fire engine in his part 2, so this is simply to finance it.
Well, great job, Fiscal Officer Luby. That's a great interest rate we got on that.
Yep.
And it's a 3-year term, 3-year lease.
Super.
Okay. And it's going to be a pretty machine. Can we call it a pretty machine?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
We can do it now.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes. Okay. Retirement recommendations?
Motion to accept the retirement of part-time firefighter paramedic, FAO, Ronald E. Ostertag, effective June 24th, 2021.
Okay, so moved. This one breaks my heart.
Yeah, seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carried. Congratulations, Ron. best of luck. You will be missed.
Good man.
Yep.
Motion to accept the retirement of part-time firefighter EMT FAO Jonathan W. Holbrook, effective August 2nd, 2021.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
luck,
motion
Jonah.
carries. Yeah, Jonah, best of luck to you. Thank you for everything. Another firefighter that we will miss.
I'd just like to say a couple words about both of them, if you don't mind.
Please.
Thank you. Ron Ostertag, well, I'll do Jonah first. Jonah actually started with us in 2009, became a fire apparatus operator and an aerial tower operator. Worked a lot of nights, but he is leaving us because he's been working full-time as a construction safety guy for several years, and he just recently took a job that requires a lot of travel, so he's out of town a lot and just couldn't work the shifts anymore. He tried to stay on PRN, but it was more travel than he even expected, so that's why he's leaving us.
Okay.
And then Ron's a little bit more interesting story about how he came to us. Ron was actually a civil engineer and lived in Delhi, and we used to have a Citizens Fire Academy, and he actually took the Citizens Fire Academy in 2001 and liked it so much that he actually went on and became certified as a firefighter, joined us part-time in 2003, still working as a civil engineer, and liked it so much then that he actually changed careers and became a full-time firefighter with Hebron. So since 2003, he's been working part-time with us, and he's just scaling back because he lost his wife a few years ago, and his kids are now finishing school and moving on, so he's just going to scale back and work a part-time job till he retires from there.
Great family.
Wonderful family.
Good. Thank you for that. Okay, your report, please.
Our report, as you can see up there, we've actually had an increase in runs this year so far of 5.6% from 2020. So that's been a pretty steady increase for us. The other thing is our CARES program is going strong, and that's been really steady on that. Actually, we've been seeing kind of an increase in that also, but you can see the numbers up there that we're working with.
Okay. There it is.
There it is.
And there's the new truck, which we did find out today is going to arrive Friday afternoon. Vogelpool's going to bring it to us sometime around 3 o'clock is what they said. I just want to talk a little bit about the engine. If you look at it and compare it to our other engines, you notice it looks a little bit different paint scheme on it and that. We've changed the paint scheme on it to be a little bit more visible to the public, which increases our safety. But some of the highlights of this engine is it has what we call a clean cab design. And it's a design to keep the cab inside clean because there's a lot of carcinogens in products of fire. So the SCBAs, the tanks we wear on our back, the turnout gear and that, especially after a fire, will be carried in outside compartments and not in the compartment where the guys are, keeping that cleaner and reducing firefighter exposure to the carcinogens. Other things, it's going to have more compartmentation on it than any of our other engines, which has always been a problem with finding space for all the tools we carry, because we do carry a lot more tools with the technology advancements. It's got better lighting and lower hose beds, so to reduce back injury, so you're not pulling up so high. The cost on it was about $608,000, and we're hoping to bring it up here at the trustees meeting on July 28th and have a little touch-a truck outside before the meeting so everybody can take a look at it.
Drive a truck?
Please?
Drive a truck?
If you got to go through our driver's training first.
I don't think you're ever
Well, she
gonna get
didn't. She didn't the last time.
Whoa.
They won't even let me drive it.
Oh man.
So when it arrives on Friday, is that when you're having the pushback or whatever they call it?
We'll actually have a ceremony for that, where we'll actually do a whole ceremony. So it'll actually come up to us, and we'll put all the equipment on it and stuff before we put it in service. And then right before it goes in service, there's a tradition in the fire service where you push the fire truck into the bay to place it into service. So we'll pull it out on there, and all of our firefighters will push it back into the bay and
Awesome. Okay.
put it in service.
And you'll let us know.
We will let you know.
Yes, definitely. I think it's gorgeous. I mean, I just really love the new look. Happy for all of you, for the safety it provides to all of you.
It's going to be a big help.
Yep.
I think it's interesting that as our fire department protects all of us as residents in Delhi Township, that it's also the responsibility of this board to protect the firefighters. and this truck is equipped to offer them the best safety precautions that it can. So we're very grateful.
Trustee Davis?
No, she took the words right out of my mouth. That's
There
what
you
it's all about, safety for the residents, safety for our personnel. So, awesome, it's going to be great.
Any of the new equipment you've been purchasing recently, the trucks, the ambulance and everything, all have new safety features on it so that it does protect?
I mean, they're always increasing the safety on all that stuff, and
Yes.
we always buy the latest safety that we can for it.
Great. All right. Any other comments? All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we appreciate it.
Is he going to do fireworks?
Oh, yeah. Did you want to?
I'm sorry, but I'm waiting for my PSA on these fireworks because it's lighting up social media, if anyone followed the little pun there. Did you follow that? Thanks.
She's
So I can
punny,
talk about
isn't
that
she?
real quick now, if you'd like.
Yeah, please, Jesse.
I brought some statistics with you just to show you why it's important that we make a conscious effort as far as fireworks safety. And just some real quick statistics. In the United States, there's greater than 19,500 reported fires every year due to fireworks, structural fires, not like grass fires, that's just in structures. There's more than 9,100 visits to the emergency room every year due to fireworks, most of those affecting the hands, arms, and legs, and 44% burns. But the highest age group that gets injured for fireworks and ends up in ER is a 10 to 14-year-old age group.
That the sparklers and such? or-
Well, sparklers and illegal fireworks. But sparklers do count for about 1/4 of all emergency room visits. So even sparklers that you think of as not being dangerous are. Sparklers actually burn up to 1,800 degrees, so you got these kids holding them in that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the different types of fireworks and what you're allowed to have in Ohio. And just real quick, there's 3 different classes of fireworks. And the first one is what they call 1.3, and that's the exhibitor fireworks that only an exhibitor can buy from a licensed distributor. So those are the ones you would see at a public show. The 1.4G fireworks are considered consumer fireworks, and those are the ones that you can buy in the states around us, but they're still illegal in Ohio at this time. So those would be like your bottle rockets, Roman candles, firecrackers, and things like that. Those are illegal in Ohio. But they can be bought in Ohio. I don't know if people knew that, but you can buy them in Ohio, but you have to sign a purchaser's agreement to take them out of the state within 48 hours after you buy them. So the ones that you can buy in Ohio, or what's legal in Ohio, is what they classify as a trick and novelty firework, they call it. And those are things like your sparklers, your snaps, those little snaps they throw, the glow snakes, and smoke devices. Those are trick and novelty fireworks, and you see them at Kroger's, and any retailer can sell those, and they can be used anywhere in Ohio unless there's a local ordinance that prohibits those. So what you can use in Ohio is the trick and novelty fireworks, and they will be labeled that way. Some of the safety things that we recommend from a fireworks standpoint is the biggest thing that you can do for safety is if you want to see good fireworks is go to a public show where they're being displayed by professionals that know what they're doing. They have the space to do them where they're not damaging property. And that's what we really recommend is go to one of the public shows. And as far as trick and novelty fireworks, just make sure there's always an adult present for it. Make sure you're only lighting one sparkler at a time and holding it away from your body. Like I said, they burn 1,800 degrees. Follow the manufacturer's instructions, and then once the sparkler burns out, take the wire and put it in a bucket of water immediately to cool it down, because that wire is still extremely hot, and you'll see a lot of people touch those, and it's actually caused a lot of problems. If you do get burned on one of the sparklers or one of the trick and novelty fireworks, just run it under cold water for 2 or 3 minutes and call for medical assistance if you need it.
So I was watching the news before I got here, and DeWine is getting ready to sign a bill to make some legal. What level is he trying to make legal?
This is actually the 3rd year in a row that they've tried to push through the legislation, and the 1 year was a technical issue. Last year, they didn't get the votes they needed in the legislature. But what they're trying to make legal in Ohio is the same thing as Indiana and Kentucky. They're trying to make the 1.4G consumer fireworks legal in Ohio. So it would be basically the same fireworks that you can go over to Kentucky, Indiana, and shoot off over there, the bottle rockets, the firecrackers, some limited aerial devices, small stuff, Roman candles.
But they're not legal this year, ladies
They are
and
not
gentlemen.
legal. They're not legal yet, and they won't be legal by the 4th of July.
So
Could be
if
next year.
somebody has a display going on and a resident is unhappy, the remedy is to call the police department And they will do what, Chief?
We'll respond, and like Chief said, they're illegal, so we will have a discussion with them and ask them to cease, advise them of the complaint, ask them to cease shooting them off. If we continue to get return runs, that's when we would have to take action.
Okay.
Delhi has not escaped fires as a result of fireworks. I can remember one landing on a plastic lawn chair and lighting up the back of a garage. I think it was about 4 years ago. We've also had mulch fires where still hot fireworks have landed in dry mulch, and we've had front lawns on fire. So please, take heed, listen to what Assistant Chief Moore has to say about these fireworks and the safety involved with them. Thank you, Jesse.
Davis?
No, nothing. I mean, it sounds like there's also a fireworks shortage this year, so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it'll give time for people to think, and maybe for the Assembly here in Ohio to rethink the legalization of these fireworks. But again, celebrate the 4th and enjoy your lives.
Right. Exactly, yeah. And be aware of your surroundings. I mean, our neighborhoods are close, the houses are close. You have no control over where that bottle rocket or whatever you're setting off is going to go. And it may not be your roof, but it could be your neighbor's. So, okay, anything else, Jesse? Oh, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't have any Parks and Recreation agenda items, but we'll take our update.
Sure. I'm going to try to read over to the screen. I thought I'd be standing up there tonight, so I didn't print it off. So in Delhi Park, some news going on. The farmers market's been a big success so far this year, so it's been very well attended. The new playground is currently under construction. We're still anticipating a ribbon cutting at 11 a.m. on August 21st.
That says September.
September, supposed to be August. Bad math, sorry. Thank you for correcting me. But it'll be August 21st. Middle restroom is closed right now. We do have some minor work getting completed on the inside, including some painting, but all of the major work is complete. And our next concert in the park is coming up on the 15th, which is Excalibur. I didn't want to get into all of the upcoming events because they're always under the community events. Storywoods, we are starting the planning for the Harvest Hootenanny. It is scheduled for the 16th of October. I got that date right. And we are still looking for some workers. We need a lot of workers. We need a full-time park maintenance worker, seasonal workers, and some custodial help. So,
Greg, I was at Farmers Market last Saturday, and I heard one of the suppliers of fruits and vegetables say that corn's supposed to be in this week. So that was his word out. So hopefully we'll see corn for the 4th of July.
there you go. It's usually knee-high by the 4th of July, but we'll have corn this year.
Only in Oklahoma, isn't it?
There you go. That's a Shelby County quote, I guess. I don't know. People down here don't get it.
Trustee
And thank you,
Davis.
trustees, for the moment of silence for my brother-in-law. It means a lot, so greatly appreciate it.
For sure. Thank you. Any questions?
No, I was always amazed at the Harvest Hootenanny a couple of years ago, how many people are not from Delhi that come in for this. This is a huge event, so hopefully we're well prepared and charge up those carts.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But it is, you see a lot coming from lots of different places, so awesome. Hopefully we get tons more vendors and more things going.
Right. And if you missed it, last Thursday night, we had Madcap Puppets in the park, and it was very well attended. Darling. People with small children are asking for more activities, so I think Mary's on that, looking for some opportunities.
We actually have a Shakespeare coming up in August, which we'll mention at the next month.
Yeah, right. Okay, so trying to have some events. So thank you for attending those, and next time you see something going on, come up and check it out. All right, thank you. Police Department.
We have a motion to accept the retirement of Police Officer Brent A. Cayley, effective June 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Accept the retirement of Police Lieutenant William R. Murphy, effective June 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Seconded?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries. It really was a lovely ceremony for them today.
Yes, it was. I thought for the short time that we had to plan everything, I thought it turned out great. Great turnout, and I know they appreciate it.
Like I said, that final call is a little rough and for them and for those in attendance, so it was lovely. Okay, Mr. Luby?
Motion to promote police recruit Adam A. Smith to police officer at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Police Association effective June 16th, 2021.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Motion to approve the hiring of Megan L. Winders as part-time police clerk in the police department at a pay rate of $13 per hour effective June 30th, 2021, contingent upon successful completion of a background check, drug screen, and voice stress analyzer.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Chief,
Okay.
a little bit about Megan, if you would.
Yeah, she's a college at Mount St. Joe student. She is originally from and still from Kentucky, looking to relocate over to here. So we have a little background to do and stuff like that, but she'll be replacing Jenna Macon, who's a big loss. She was with us for a little more than 2 years, who moved off to Washington, D.C. So we hated to see Jenna depart, but we're looking forward to Megan.
Nice, thank you.
Welcome to everybody. That's great. Okay. Resolution.
Resolution 2021-94, resolution entering into a memorandum of understanding with Green Township for the joint purchase and use of a traffic investigation equipment, declaring an emergency and dispensing with second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Chief?
Yeah, thank you, Board. This is a piece of equipment, actually, that, basically, let me back up. Since Green Township's pretty much 95% on their own now without the Sheriff's Department working in Green Township, Green Township has taken on the responsibility of all their major crash scenes. Fatal auto accidents, serious with injuries auto accidents, and so forth. Something we've been doing on our own for a long time. What we would do is we would rely on calling out the city for the equipment that we use to actually document that scene. With Green Township going on their own and doing it, the equipment is quite costly. So we've come up with the MOU to purchase the equipment that can be through collaboration shared between both agencies. So if Green Township has a serious auto accident or fatal accident, they'll have the equipment at their disposal. They'll also have officers from our traffic unit that can assist them and vice versa. If we have something over in Delhi, we have immediate access to the equipment, and also Green Township's willing to deploy some traffic safety officers too to help us out. So it's a great collaboration. It's very expensive equipment. It's surveying equipment to document the scene. Sometimes there's a crime that has occurred and criminal charges come about. Sometimes there's not. And it's also a piece of equipment for the crash data recorder, which usually we would contact the city and use theirs. And that's capturing all the data inside the car. Almost think of it as the black box in an airplane. It's going to tell you if the seat belts were engaged, the speed of impact, the speed of braking, and all that kind of stuff. So naturally, we get a search warrant for all those types of things, and then we can use the machine to get that off of. Total between the two products is a little more than $44,000. So our half, we're looking at a little more than $22,000. It's not coming out of the police budget. It's coming from these fine people in this association of the Citizens Police Association. So for that, we're forever grateful. Something we didn't have in our budget. So we appreciate them for doing the hard work and obtaining that funding, and we appreciate everybody that gives money to DCPA, because that comes back to us. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. The equipment we hope we never have to use, but unfortunately there's times that we've all seen that we have to pull it out and use it, so.
Sure.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes. Thank you, DCPA. That's wonderful. I mean, I don't think they get enough recognition for everything that you do for the police department, so thank you. Okay. Your report, sir.
Statistics are up here, as you see the month of May in yellow. Very similar to the month of April. We are picking a little bit up as far as the number of details and so forth. But if you look under 2020 year to date, we're very similar in numbers. So there's nothing really that jumps out as far as we're concerned, as far as out of range. But if you have any questions about anything particular one, I'd be glad to answer.
I'm good. Thank you.
Good.
No, thank you. Appreciate that report all the time. Thank you. Anything else?
Can I hit on speed bumps real quick?
Please do.
Speed bumps.
And noise ordinance?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of the correspondence that's been discussed as far as speed bumps, but it's pretty much as far as in the past history of the police department and roads, and I can let Ron talk about the impact on roads that they have. But as far as we're concerned, we really want people to reach out to us. We have means to help them on township streets and even county streets, but township streets and the subdivisions and so forth, to deploy extra means out there to be visible. If you haven't seen it, hopefully you have, but we have several because of purchase of the speed signs that we can post in the neighborhoods, traffic studies, we can capture speeds off that to see what the average speed is and so forth. So I encourage anybody out there that feels that they have a speeding issue on their street to reach out to us. If we don't hear from you, we think everything's fine on the street. Reach out to us, we can deploy those. We have a list. I can't tell you it's going to be up the same day you call or the next day, but in a relatively short period of time, because we do rotate 4 of them throughout the whole township. So please call us.
I think I continuously hear about Riverwatch. And then the other one is that stretch on Cleves Warsaw.
I believe they're both up there right now, actually, on both of those.
I saw one, yeah.
Right, so,
The latest one was Wilkie.
okay.
Wilkie. And that's not necessarily always a pass-through. That's locals.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, you know, a lot of it, I hate to say it, but a lot of it is the people that live in the subdivisions. A lot of our subdivisions, it's one way in, one way out. So it's people either that reside in that subdivision or visiting that subdivision. So kind of comes bad with the good. We deploy troops out there to try to slow people down, but it's inevitable, you know, that you are going to affect some residents too, that you have speeding on the street. So we just ask everybody, especially summer months, kids are out playing,
Exactly.
you know, and don't encourage your kids to ride the bike to see how fast they can get those speed monitors up, because we have seen that to the point if
Well,
you're calling.
I have a lot of empathy for this because I live on one of those cut-through streets and had the mailbox taken out a couple times. So, you know, I hear what they're saying, and I appreciate you trying to monitor some of this and get it back under control.
Absolutely.
But it also slows down response time when our first responders are coming too.
Correct.
If we were to have speed bumps. So you have to take that in consideration too.
Yeah, if I could weigh in just a little bit, I've done a lot of traffic-related studies and calming efforts and looked at this throughout my career, and it's similar in all the communities I've been in. The one effective approach is calling the police and letting them know where, when, et cetera. The intel is what helps us address the issue or helps them address the issue. Speed humps, if people aren't aware, those are the wider humps that make you slow down. It's not a jolt of a hump, it just makes you slow down. It's not preferred for response and for our larger equipment. It's just not good for it. So we prefer not to deploy speed humps. There are more effective ways to calm the traffic, but we have to be aware of it. The signs they put out collect the data, time, speed, etc. A lot of times it's not a speeding problem. It's more of a perception of that car passing in front of you, and it feels like it's going faster. So they need to determine there is an actual speeding issue happening, but then the enforcement is really, at the end of the day, the most effective way to get people to slow down. So sometimes you get what you ask for, because most of the time it's the people that live there that are coming and going. So, but please, and you're going to hear the same thing with the noise comments, call and let us know when, where, et cetera. Give us whatever information you can give us. That's the most helpful. They document it, record it, can reference it. It's happened before. So that's most helpful for the police department to deal with any of these issues.
And it's called the police department, your direct line.
And I will say the
Yeah, not
speed data,
911.
Yeah, speed data. I mean, a lot of times, once we pull the data off, we can see, at 6:10 every morning, we have somebody in excessive speed. So it's somebody, same time going to work, and a lot of people aren't seeing that vehicle, because they're sleeping. But that's when we deploy at that time to try to get that individual slow down and so forth, so.
Okay. Noise ordinance?
Yeah, noise ordinance, we encourage, once again, and I know fireworks has come up quite a bit. And I don't necessarily know if a lot of individuals have a problem with the 4th of July in the fireworks. I think sometimes a lot of people expect that to celebrate and stuff. But I think it's when you're getting in the week before or 2 weeks before, and then 4th of July comes and goes, and you have your nice celebrations, and then 2 weeks later, you're still having them go off. And I think that really gets to a lot of people. So, we do have ordinances as far as our the state code, noise ordinances and stuff that, once again, we'll come out there and forewarn you. If it continues on, then we can take action with citations, either the possession of the firearms or disorderly conduct as far as the time of day and the hour and so forth that they're being shot off.
What about loud vehicles? Loud vehicles meaning their radio and audio equipment is blasting from the windows.
Right. The difficult about that is usually it's so transient that once we get a call about somebody, it's just, they're down the street by time, by the time we could get there, something like that. We do have the park ordinance as far as the volume of the stereos and stuff in the park, in all the township parks that we can enforce. So definitely our park resource officer would be able to keep eyes on that, cruising through the park, parked and just sitting around the car and having it loud, we can take action on that. So, and if you have one, if you have a neighbor or somebody in the neighborhood coming in certain hours of the day, just really loud, grab a plate number. If you know where they live, call us, let us approach them, and just as a courtesy, say, hey, you're not really making too many good neighbors around here. Maybe you can tone it down a little bit, and let us have that conversation if you can't approach them yourself. That's first course of action is maybe if you could approach them and let them know that they're causing a disturbance.
Okay.
If you don't feel comfortable, that's our job.
Trustee Davis?
No, I remember this conversation from many years back, and probably you guys in the back remember this conversation through the years. And doesn't Delhi have a noise ordinance and everything? And I've always thought we have something better, which is that disorderly conduct. Delhi's going to come out, they're going to ask you, please knock it off, please. But if you still want to be obstinate and be that way, you can and have had that disorderly conduct slapped on you, which I think sobers them up pretty quickly. That's not just going to be a little citation for your noise. It's actually something that's a misdemeanor. And
that's true, Trustee Davis. And the main thing is if it gets to that point that we issue a citation, you've been, warned quite a few times.
Yep.
It's not like we're going to come out the very first time and slap a ticket on you.
Right.
But give us the consideration to heed the warning and, cease the activity.
Yeah.
Chief, I will offer my support for what they do with that disturbing the peace. But before, just to be clear, because this gets confused between a city and a township, we don't have ordinances. Cities and villages can put a noise ordinance in place. So as it's talked about, we follow the state regulations about noise or disturbing the peace. Cities can put a regulation in for noise. So we don't have that ability, and I will tell you in the cities and villages I've worked, or the one city and the one village, it's no more effective than what we have. It puts a time on it, but you still have to go tell the people to be quiet regardless. And I want to say it was the first year I was here, I received a call, and a young lady was dealing with a younger adult child next door playing the drums. Like 5 o'clock when she got home. This person would not stop. We documented it. He went to court. The judge held him, guilty for disturbing the peace, and he had to cut it out. It will be followed up on, and that's why calling us and letting us know, again, that this is happening is our most effective way to help you. If somebody drives down the street and their car is loud, yes, that's annoying. There's not a lot we can do to give them a ticket, but if it's an ongoing thing, that's where we need to have the record of it and the reporting of it to help you.
And Jack,
And you
that
will
that
go to
was my
court.
ride-along with the DCPA with Officer Myers when we pulled in the
drummer?
drive for the drummer. So,
They- yeah,
and I mean,
and-
we pulled in over the curb and you could hear the drums. I mean, so it was a very legitimate complaint.
And these are to help something not be a continued issue. You know, a one-off, somebody's playing loud music, go knock it off, okay. Annoying, yes, but this is for the continual habitual kind of things to help, you know, curb those and stop them.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I agree 100%. Like I said, the goal is to get them to just stop it. So 90-some% of the time you guys show up, they're going to stop. But those, as I said, if it has to get to that point, you do have other options, and that's what I appreciate, so.
Appreciate it.
And like you're saying, Jack, please, if there's something going on, let us know. Let us know. 922-0060 is the non-emergency number. If it's later at night and you see something that's just kind of out of whack, whatever, just call 911. And if you're afraid of getting involved, you don't have to give your name even. Just say, here's what's happening, and I don't want to get involved, but here's what's up. And let them come out. That's what they're here for, so.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Okay, Public Works, we don't have any agenda items, but always lovely to hear from Mr. Ripperger.
Thank you, trustees. I'll give you a quick update on the Rapid Run flood mitigation projects, let you know where we're at. Currently, we have 21 offers, 18 accepted, 10 closed on, I believe 2 in the past 5 days. 3 declined and 4 demoed. We have a good amount of people looking for houses, needless to say. We also have a couple that have already purchased houses that are just doing repairs, upgrades, and what have you, which is kind of a nice perk to this project. You can kind of put off your closing if you decide to do stuff like that. So that's working out good. Moving on to the road project. It's in Mount Alverno subdivision, the Riverwatch area. Considering the amount of rain and cicada attacks we had in the past month, it was pretty entertaining actually. But next week they're going to be starting on Greenwell. And we just kind of ask that the residents be patient. I know it's a difficult situation where you have about 15 houses with no curb or access to their driveway, and the contractor tries to help out the residents, park them on the other side of the street so they have a place to park. But that definitely makes construction a little difficult when a concrete truck shows up. So we've had a few calls on that. Just when you can go a different route or what have you, that'd be great, and be patient. Let's see, is the fleet mechanics. Past month, we did 13 services and 21 repairs. One service was to a fire truck, and normally that's pretty time consuming. We go from one end to the other, and they'll usually find a few things to fix on that. And we had one of the mechanics on vacation for a week. The road crew also fighting rain and cicadas, but we were able to do some crack sealing, partial depth asphalt repairs, storm damage cleanup, because it seems to storm or rain every third day, I think, and stormwater inspections. We just found out recently there's a Duke project going on across from the main Delhi Park in the Lullaby subdivision. They're replacing the feed from the main to the meters. So if anybody would have any questions or residents, they can get a hold of us. We have good contact info for that. And we also worked on the website. The office manager and project inspector put a good amount of time in that, so I encourage the residents to check that out. We got a lot of good information from all the departments, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that's all I have, if anybody has any questions.
Thanks, Ron.
Trustee Davis? Do you want to talk about the aspects of what speed bumps or speed
I think Jim did a pretty good job covering
to the
most of it.
equipment, to the fire trucks and so on and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, it does definitely slows down the salt trucks and emergency vehicles. I know that's been a big problem with putting speed bumps in, and it does seem like even if you have speed bumps in and you really want to speed, I mean, you still can. It's not advised, but it does happen.
But it affects the axles, particularly on the larger pieces of equipment.
Oh, yeah.
So it's detrimental to the equipment itself.
And
And
I
then
know
it ends up in the shop.
Some jurisdictions that do have it, it's really noisy. And once they put them in, that's the next complaint that comes. is all the rattling and the emergency vehicles. So the plows, you're lifting them up and banging them back down at 3 in the morning. So, yeah, I think Jim did a good job explaining them.
Yeah, you both did. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Okay, next administration. We have a resolution.
Resolution 2021-95, resolution adopting the tax budget for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2022, pursuant to revised code 5705.28, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution, Mr. Cameron?
As evidenced by all the people that came to the public hearing, this is a very scintillating topic, our tax budget for the year. So the tax budget is a formal thing that we have to do and file it in the middle of July. And it is basically to project some of our expenses, although we're still months away from really getting those real close, but also the revenue side. And so this tax budget is used by the County Budget Commission. So that's the treasurer, the prosecutor, and the auditor. And they approve our revenue, which is called our certificate of estimated resources that we use to appropriate for the following year, so for 2022. So this is an exercise on the revenue side mostly. I will tell you from putting it together, our revenue looks fine, strong. Our property tax bases in our different funds is up over the past year. I'm not going to say it's tremendously up, but it's not down. It's the same or up, so that's a good thing. So our revenue side looks strong, and that's a good thing, and we don't look to have any changes in that regard for the following year. As far as the revenue side goes, I will point out that the state has included now townships in the American Recovery Plan. This is not a tax budget issue, but they previously had excluded them, and I won't get into the details of it, but they shouldn't have, in my opinion. So the state put us back in, and so we are scheduled to get 3.2 million, I think, 3.1, 3.2. I saw 3.2, but I saw some stories that said 3.1. Anyway, it will come in 2 tranches, as they're calling it. So we'll get one shot this year and one shot next year of half the money. So that's a good thing. That'll bolster, and then there'll be stipulations on where and what that money can be spent on. I will say that the cities like Cincinnati, Cleveland, the bigger townships that are over 50,000, they got it directly from the federal government. And this is coming through the state, the same allotment of money. I don't know what their stipulations are. If you listen to Cincinnati and the county talk about how they're going to spend their money, there's really no rules to theirs. There are rules to ours, which we're trying to make sure we understand properly. So it's state versus federal distribution of the money. Anyway, so that's kind of our revenue side. It's a positive story, so that's a good thing.
Okay, thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Mr. Chairman, if you would, on that, touching base on that, it's not to blow our own horn, but Bill Seitz and everybody, everyone who fought that, when they didn't include the townships, I think everybody went to war saying, hey, so this is a major victory. If you come to the meetings and you hear a lot going on, I second this, I motion that, and you just kind of blend out a little bit. This was something that they tried to dump the townships and not include us in some of the recovery money. And to be able to get that, to recoup over $3 million is incredible. So there were lots of efforts that went into this, including Bill Seitz, and who else am I missing?
Blessing.
Brinkman, we are so, again, it was a joint effort, so nice job.
And what you will see is they announced the distributions prior, and the 50,000 and over got their portions. And the smaller than 50,000 still had to get it through the state. And all of that money got basically cut in half because they had to now include 1,300 townships. So there's a bit of a outcry on that side, but they should have had it that way from the start. It was inappropriate the way they cut the townships out.
It was fair.
Agree 100%.
Yes, okay, good. Do you have a report for us, other than that?
I will note a couple things. One, our website, we launched a new platform a week ago, kind of a soft launch. It's now transitioned. We haven't run it up the flagpole to say go play with it, but go ahead and check it out. There are different features that you can sign up for different things and get notifications where the previous website didn't have that. So it's a notify me, or I call it a subscription to different information. We're still sorting through some of that, so be patient with it. The information should be there. It's a lot more amenable to us tinkering with things and putting information out in an easier to consume form. So the website has been updated. The park platform for reservations will be coming online too. That's something we did the platform for that as well. So all of our reservations for our facilities and payment will be online. So that's a good thing, and especially if we get our fitness center online, that'll be really good for that too. So as far as information, the newsletter, if for some reason you are not getting the newsletter, give us your address, call the office and tell Lori what your address is and that you want to be on the mailing list. Then the last thing is, we're still working on the mixed use project. Hopefully we'll get some traction here in the next week and be able to announce some more things, but as you negotiate with folks with, millions of dollars involved, it's not like it happens overnight. Everybody's got to protect what they hope to build. So we're still working hard on that, and hopefully we'll have some good news here shortly.
Okay.
And that's a nice tool also, because with the social media, with Facebooks and everything else, with people putting information out that, well, here's what we think's going on, just check our website out. You can get fact first, whatever you need to tell you what's going on, updating the mixed-use project, updating what's going on in the parks, everything's going on in your township. So this will be a nice tool to use for that, and hopefully, are we doing something with Facebook also, or have we gotten to that point yet, or?
No, we still have, Facebook pages and Twitter feeds, so we have that. That's not changing.
Yeah. I just think it's important that the residents have somewhere they can go that's objective, that gives them real, true information, because, so it'll be good. It's good.
Trustee Seavey, anything?
No, casually asking, though, while we were at Madcap, there are many of our residents that use our Facebook page, particularly with the parks. So I went and asking, how did you find out? How did you get here? I would say almost 100% of them were Facebook, where they had read it on Facebook. So we need to make sure we keep that current and frequent.
Okay, thank you. All right, community development, our favorite section of the meeting every time.
Usually your longest session of the meeting.
It is tonight.
We have Resolution 2021-96, resolution certifying violation abatement expenses at 3940 Delhi Pike, 4230 Champdale Lane, 4989 Francis View Drive, 425 Pedretti Road, 587 Pedretti Road, 515 Allenford Court, 525 Ivory Court, 5433 Cleves Warsaw Pike, 425 Moorview Drive, 5348 Whitmore Drive, and 5819 Faisal Drive to the County Auditor for assessment, declaring an emergency, and dispense with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Sure, as you can see, we had 11 properties we had to clean up. We appreciate our contractors helping us out with this. The assessments range from $427 to $988.11 for a total assessment we'll be filing with the county auditor at $6,819.11. And that is pretty much all I have.
Yep.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-97, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 452 Kitty Lane, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Sure, I'll just hit the next 13. I will state that we started with 26 prior to tonight, so we were able to knock off 13, which we're happy about. Of those 13, 6 of these properties are vacant properties. 4 are not locally owned. 5 of these properties are owner-occupied. 2 are rental properties, neither locally owned, and 11 of the 13 are repeat offenders. So
11 of the 13.
11 of the 13 are repeat offenders.
So when you say you got them resolved before tonight, so
Yes.
the public knows.
Yeah, so when we have, we actually had an extra week also before this meeting. Usually we have 2 weeks, this time we have 3. We go out and check the morning of the meeting. We have to prepare these resolutions a week in advance. So within that last week, things can get improved upon. So we do go out and check the morning of the meeting, and we did have 13 of them come into compliance, which is very good for us.
Right.
This is a lot of work on our end to do this, so.
It is.
And it is a lot of work for our contractors when we have to get out there because they're also short-staffed right now.
Thank you.
Yep.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this
I
resolution.
second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-98, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 842 Neeb Road, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution? No, Mr. DeLong.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-99, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 3940 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-100, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4240 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of this
Any
resolution.
discussion on the resolution?
I will
move-
make a comment on this one.
Oh,
because of the
okay.
Because of the condition of the car you see. This is down actually at the Lips on Delhi Pike. It is a legal non-conforming use. It is a salvage yard. They are allowed to have those cars. So we have to only address the vegetation that is unfortunately around the cars.
Interesting.
But the rest is okay, but this just on these particular ones?
It's just the grass.
Just the grass, because
Not
that,
the automobile
that
jet.
business is actually legal non-conforming. It's been there forever, and even when we changed the zoning, it's continued as a legal non-conforming use, so it's grandfathered in.
It's
So we can't
grandfathered.
address
It's a
the
grandfathered
vehicles,
in use.
just the
Gotcha.
grass ground.
Yeah, I figured that'd probably be a question looking at the cars.
Yes, it would. All right.
Okay, I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-101, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4250 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? No.
All right, I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-102, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4323 Mount Vernon Road, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
This is not the corner house anymore, right? Okay.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-103, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4940 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this
I
resolution.
second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-104, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5336 Plover Lane, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-105, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 6009 Hickory Tree Court, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this
I
resolution.
second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-106, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4469 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-107, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 1032 Beach Meadow Lane, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of this
Any
resolution.
discussion on this resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this
I
resolution.
second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-108, a resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation and accumulated debris at 4110 Honeycutt Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this
I
resolution.
second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2021-109, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation and accumulated debris at 4512 Fair Road, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this
I
resolution.
second the adoption of this
Any
resolution.
discussion on this resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, resolution passes. That's it. Okay, come up for air. Mr. DeLong?
Well, when you look at these numbers now, it makes sense to why we just sat through all these nuisance resolutions. As you can see, I do the past couple years, actually, just so we can see the progress from left to right. You can see in 2019, year-to-date, we're only at 373 complaints. This year, we're sitting at 629 year-to-date. So there's been a substantial increase in filed complaints for nuisance and zoning. Zoning certificates have been on a good uptick this year. We're sitting at 174. 2 years ago, we were at 121. And right now, this year, we're already sitting at over $10 million in investment, which is really good in the community. 2019 is a little skewed because we had the Mount St. Joe's Rec Center on there.
Greg,
So-
will you say that again?
Which one?
The 10 million.
10 million is very good.
10
Very good.
million, yeah, because sometimes, as I said, people watching at home or here, you go right by it. 10 million is money that is being invested into this community.
I will make note, we were just at a ribbon cutting for McDonald's. on Monday for their new dining room. That number is not calculated in this because they did not need any zoning certificates.
So
from us.
10,800,000.
Yeah, 800,000 plus more.
Yes.
Probably over 11 to 12 million, actually. These are only numbers we get for zoning certificates. So it is a great number to see already this year. So we're really happy about that. Just some projects underway. Bearcat Storage is actually wrapping up their expansion. Christ Hospital is working on their new location at 5026 Delhi Pike. La Rosa's is well underway down there at Mount Laverno and Delhi Pike. Mr. Luby's place is hopefully wrapping up soon for him, so he can get located in his new location. Garden Grove, which is at the old Wittersatter property, we've issued 2 zoning certificates for that. That's moving along very quickly. In Greenside Estates, we've actually issued 20 zoning certificates year to date, and they only have 11 lots left. So that's moving along quite well.
Greg, there's a couple questions about the Christ Hospital facility. Do you know, is that going to be an urgent care, or is that going to be a physician's location?
Location.
Physician's location, okay.
Yeah.
everyone.
And they
There's the
hopefully will be
There's
open
your
by
answer.
the hopefully will be open by the end of the year to early next year. So
Okay. Anything else?
no, and I would like to. I kind of mentioned McDonald's. I don't know if you guys want to share any stories, but Cynthia Booth, the owner of McDonald's, had a grand opening of her dining room, I guess. Looked great. We were up there Monday for a nice little celebration. She also did donate money to the Kids Cops and Firefighters organization of $1,000. So we were really happy for that contribution to that organization. I don't know if the trustees have anything else to share on that, but
Well,
It
it's
was
nice to
impressive
know
looking.
that that dining room is open again, so I know that there's some regular breakfast coffee people in there, so it's, come on back to the McDonald's.
Right.
No, I'm taking that to social media again, where McDonald's was blasted by many in the community that have gone up there. This was bad, that was bad. Cynthia Booth, yeah, the owner, and I can assure you, they are committed to keeping McDonald's clean, keeping it running efficiently. They've gone through a whole new training. They just invested $800,000 into this property. Every possible word from her and her staff is they are here to serve you, and if something is not right, they will make it right. And that is verbatim. So we all work together, Delhi. This is our only McDonald's that we have in Delhi. So support it, and if there's something wrong, reach out and just say, hey, this wasn't the best. Taking people to task on the social media part, where the companies like that, it's like, don't do that. That resolves nothing, and it makes other people who thought about maybe moving into the township looking at that going, what? So don't do that. She wants you to call her. She'll take your calls. They'll remedy the problem. Am I wrong?
No,
Yeah.
no, you're correct. She doesn't read the social media, so it's not getting to the source. It's not getting to the person who can make a change, so
But she wants it.
wants it. Right.
Wow, so good.
Yeah, so, yes, it was a lovely ceremony. They have kiosks inside to order. You don't even have to go up to the counter. You can just order on the kiosk if you like. Okay, thank you very much, appreciate it. Okay, now is public comment, but we already had our public comment, so thank you for that. So we'll go right into announcement of community events.
Our Delhi Farmers Market is open on Saturday mornings through August 28th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and that's at Clearview Lake and Delhi Park. You can call the park's office for more details. Delhi Parks presents Fishing on Fridays. It's Fridays through September. It's from 7 a.m. until dusk at the Clearview Lake. Fishing is available to Delhi residents and permitted in designated areas. You can call the parks for more questions. Delhi Branch Library Outdoor Story Time is Tuesday and Wednesday mornings from 10:15 to 11 a.m., and that will be on the front lawn. Delhi Branch Library Discover Summer Event Spellbound by the Magic of Science is Thursday, July 15th from 2 to 3 p.m., and that is presented by the Crystal Clear Science for school-age children. Registration is required. Please call 369-6019 for more details. Parks and Recreation presents Concert in the Park featuring Excalibur, and that is Thursday, July 15th at 7 p.m., and that will be at the Delhi Park Pavilion. Delhi Branch Library Adult Book Club American Spy will be Wednesday, July 21st from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Delhi Library. The book is by Lauren Wilkinson. Registration is required. Please call or register at rosekitchen@cincinnatilibrary.org. Delhi Parks Recreation presents Shakespeare in the Park performance, Romeo and Juliet, Tuesday, August 10th at 7 p.m., and that will be at the Delhi Park Pavilion. Contact the Parks Department or call for more details. The parks also have Concert in the Park featuring Curly and the Cue Balls Thursday, August 19th at 7 o'clock. That will be at the Park Pavilion. Contact the parks or call for more details. That's all we have.
Right. So lots going on out there. Okay, we do have a need to go into executive session. If we could have the motion, please.
Motion to retire to executive session to consider confidential information related to the marketing plans, specific business strategy, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance.
So moved.
Seconded?
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis. Mrs. Sturts.
Yes, motion passes. Our next meeting is Wednesday, July 14th. In the meantime, everybody, please stay safe. Have a wonderful 4th of July, and hope to see you all back here. Amen.